Hi, I'm Darren and this is my assistant Heji Choi.
Hi.
Today we'll be showing you the process of cellular respiration.
And I'll be showing you models, diagrams to help you visualize how the process operates.
During cellular respiration, chemical energy is converted into another form of chemical energy, which can be stored most often in ATP. Cellular respiration is basically the opposite of photosynthesis. There are two phases of cellular respiration: glycolysis, which is the breakdown of sugar to pyruvic acid, and the complete oxidation of pyruvic acid to form carbon dioxide and water. The chemical formula for cellular respiration is C6H12O6 plus O2, which react to form CO2, H2O, and energy. C6H12O6 is a type of sugar called glucose, and this mixes with oxygen, which produces carbon dioxide, CO2, water, H2O, and energy, which is usually in ATP. Now, I'll be explaining a process called glycolysis. Glycolysis is the process in which glucose is broken down into a simpler sugar called pyruvate. In glucose, there are 6 carbon molecules. In the beginning of glycolysis, 2 phosphate atoms are bonded with the carbons. They then break off into 2 molecules that consist of 3 carbons and 1 phosphate. The phosphate then breaks off, making energy in the form of ATP and NADH, leaving a pair of 3 carbon pyruvates. This marks the end of glycolysis, but not the end of cellular respiration. From pyruvate, there are 2 possibilities in which it can go through. Possible processes, I believe. The factor that determines which process that it undergoes is whether if there is oxygen or not. If there is oxygen, it goes through a process called aerobic respiration. If there is no oxygen, however, it will go through a process called anaerobic respiration. Within aerobic respiration, pyruvate forms acetyl CoA, an important molecule in metabolism. Acetyl CoA goes within the Krebs cycle, which results with the production of energy known as ATP. Pyruvate can also form lactate within the human body if there is a lack of oxygen. Acetyl CoA oxidizes to produce carbon dioxide, water, and ATP molecules. There is a buildup of lactic acid within our body, and when we work out, we have a lack of oxygen. Due to the lacking of this oxygen, there is a byproduct of lactate. This is why we feel pain after we work out. Lactate is also known to be used to produce milk and yogurt. Pyruvate doesn't go through anaerobic respiration within the human body because we always have oxygen in our body. However, when pyruvate does go through anaerobic respiration, fermentation occurs. This is how kimchi is produced in Korea. Ethanol can also be produced through anaerobic respiration, which is used as alcohol. Ethanol is the purest form of alcohol. In the end of cellular respiration, carbon dioxide is released from organisms, 36 ATP energy sources are formed, and all reactants are oxidized. This diagram is a summary of what you have just learned.
This is the cell membrane, and this is the cell mitochondria. Glucose enters the cell membrane and goes through glycolysis, releasing ATP and NADH, which are forms of energy. After glycolysis, it forms pyruvate. If there is a lack of oxygen, for example, when we work out, there's a production of lactate. But since we have oxygen within our body 24/7, it goes through aerobic respiration and forms acetyl CoA and then goes to the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle releases ATP and NADH, and which are forms of energy, and NADH goes to the electron transport system, which also forms more ATP, and all are energy. And the Krebs cycle has the byproduct of carbon dioxide, and we have oxygen here outside of the cell, forming water inside the cell. And we all hope you enjoyed our presentation on cellular respiration.
In glucose, there are 6 carbon molecules. In the beginning of glycolysis,